Hello everybody, it's me, Tonic TZW. We're here in the Tier 7 campaign reward ship, the Friesland, which is a Dutch destroyer, so it comes under the Pan-European set of ships. I've called the video Hub Holland, but yeah, technically that's not correct, because Friesland is a province of the Netherlands, and Holland is also a province of the Netherlands, even though most people around the world call the country that is the Netherlands, they call it Holland. But just trying to be technically correct there, because I know there are probably some Dutch people that would correct me if I didn't correct myself already. But for those that don't know, I do have ties to Holland because my nice ex-wife lives in the Netherlands, as do my two daughters, Emmy and Fleur. So yes, they actually live in Holland because they live in Noord-Holland in Haarlem. So Friesland, I think, is a little bit further north than that, and I think Friesland also has black and white cows, or koeien, as they call them in the Netherlands. But yes, I also speak a little bit of Dutch, and I think that surprised somebody when they were watching a live stream the other day. And that person that it might have surprised was Ingmar. So hello Ingmar, groetjes out Engeland. And he said, hey, can you do me a video in the Friesland, because it's where I live. Now, we did play it on live stream. It wasn't an amazing match, and I said it's not really a ship I like to play because it is a very situational ship. It is a destroyer that does not have torpedoes. But yes, the Dutch people are yeah, they are an unusual bunch. I know everybody thinks Amsterdam, red light district, smoking weed in cafes and things like that, but no, you know, a large part of the Netherlands is actually below sea level, so yeah, they could all live on underwater, basically. But maybe that's why they wear wooden shoes called clogs or klomschoenen, because I guess the wood might help them float if they do ever end up underwater. The capital city of Amsterdam is also built on top of a lot of wooden piles which were driven into marshy ground, and I believe the narrowest house in the world is also there in Amsterdam, and I think it's a little warehouse that is less than a meter wide, because way back in the ages when Amsterdam was a huge trading port, the warehouses used to have to pay for the frontage of the building that faced onto the canals for loading and unloading of the goods that were coming in on the barges. So the narrower your house, then the less money and taxes that you had to pay, which is why if you go to somewhere like Amsterdam, the houses are very tall, sometimes 3 or 4 stories, and that seems to be a thing with Dutch houses. They're very narrow, very tall, and often very deep, and I'm waving my hands around in the air as I do this talking. But yes, so the Netherlands is a very, very unusual country, but it has some of my favourite foods as well. Oude kaas and filet Amerikaan and stroopwafel and poffertjes and Vlaamse friet met knoflooksaus, and any Dutch people there will know what I mean. But should we get back to this game instead of me giving you a lesson on the Netherlands? Yes, the Friesland is a very, very unusual one, that it doesn't, because it doesn't have torpedoes, and torpedoes would have really helped me here because I have a division of 3 Awamis. Now, sadly, the Bismarck and the Richelieu there either don't know how to play the game, or they completely forgot that the Awami has torpedoes on both sides. Because while his 2 friends parked behind that island to contest the capture point, our Bismarck and Richelieu went straight towards the 3rd guy, and he sailed straight through the middle of them both and torpedoed them. So I'm now very much out on my own out here, and I'm sure that those Awamis would not be feeling as brave if I did have torpedoes on this boat. One of the other things that the Friesland is very good at is shooting down aeroplanes. So it can be very, very good in a carrier match because you can pick up a clear sky medal probably 9 times out of 10 with carrier captains who don't know not to go near a Friesland. I think my record for plane shot down in this one is 49. But not having any torpedoes means that the only thing that I can do here when being chased by 3 Awamis and knowing that there is an Ostergotland out there on the capture point as well, and that the rest of blue team went in the opposite direction, for those that didn't go directly back to port at the start of the game, looking at you Bismarck and Richelieu, I'm on my own. I'm going to have to run. But I decide that what I'm going to try and do is what the Friesland does best, and that is be annoying as hell. But it obviously doesn't take much to get a destroyer killed. Now, if I was these Awamis, I would probably have high explosive loaded, because if I got hit with high explosive, they'd be doing a hell of a lot of damage to me. What I'm going to do is use my own high explosive and my rapid firing turrets to twist and turn and try and light some fires on this guy, all the while trying to remain aware of where the other guys might be to put shots on me. It's not going to be perfect play, but we get a fire there. He can see me, which means the other guys can see me. We get some shots come over there, and now that we've got a fire on him, we're going to turn away and basically use the fact that they have dispersion at a range to try and avoid as much of their gunfire as possible. Now, blue team, way across there on C cap, the majority of them, we are down on points. It looks like red team are in B cap as well, and I'm still feeling very, very lonely out here on A cap, but there isn't a lot that I can do about that apart from take a sip of my tea. Now, 3 Awamis is obviously a lot of hit points, and when the only thing I have got is 2 turrets with a total of 4 guns, fires are going to be the way that I can milk away those hit points from these guys. He has either damage controlled or that fire has burned out, so knowing that he's already use that, we're going to try and get another fire on him. But there you see, we take some hits, so we're going to start twisting and turning. We get another fire, and then we see the other guys out there who are out of range, so we are going to stop firing. We're going to go bow in. We're going to play with our throttle and try and keep these guys guessing as to where we are. Now, I don't know if that Ostergotland is still out there, but looking at the destroyer on B-cap, I imagine that is the Ostergotland, so I don't feel threatened by him. So we are going to push these guys, and it's not exactly a pincer movement, squeezing these guys back against the rest of the blue team. They know I'm out here. There's 3 of them against 1 of me. And has he put his fire out again? Oh, and look, the other 2 are in range now. And their guns are looking my way because I want to try and sneak back into this capture point. I think they figured out now how I am playing this destroyer. And look, I don't have torpedoes, but they do. So that's something I'm going to have to be careful of. At least I know they have just torpedoes, but yeah, as I said, the Bismarck and the Richelieu, I don't know what was going on there. But yeah, 3 Awamis with all those torpedoes and 3 sets of battleship guns against them. Yeah, that was a crazy move, guys. Crazy move. Something that I'd expect of a stone Dutchman, to be honest. But I used to have a little personal saying about the Dutch, in that I used to say, een Nederlander kan alles op een fiets dragen, which basically means that a Dutchman can carry anything on his bicycle, and you'd be surprised to see what Dutch people ride around carrying on their bicycles. I mean, my nice ex-wife Des, she used to have both my daughters and a rucksack and a buggy strapped to her bicycle, and be quite happily pedalling it along when we lived in the Netherlands. It was a sight to behold. I often wonder how they do it. But there you go. We get a kill. We're only on 73 damage, 73,000 damage. But now that we have ships spotted and we can make use of our smokescreen, we can start wailing on these guys, because hopefully somebody else from blue team can spot them. And there's the third guy, who's still full health, pretty much not much of a help to his mate really. But there's a fire on him, a fire on him, and we're going to start going to the whaleway station on these guys with this high explosive. It can whittle away quite rapidly as well, using the armor piercing against superstructures. It's very good with that. But these guys would not be existing at this point in the game if I had torpedoes available to me. It's as simple as that. It's a very situational ship where you're reliant on other people being able to spot for you when you're in smoke. Yes, you can be effective from that smoke screen, but you need to have those ships in range. You've got to be aware that many battleships will not be afraid to rush you in your smokescreen because you haven't got torpedoes, and there's not a lot you can do about that. But here we go. These Awamis are still trying to torpedo me. Now, the reason I've stayed on high explosive here is because the only medal I needed to finish my heroic missions for the week was a Witherer, and with 3 Awamis, fast firing guns and lots of fires, I'm going to find it very easy to pick up that Witherer badge. And there we go, we've got an arsonist on the first Awami, we've got our Witherer, so that's 60,000 fire damage out of our current total of 117, 118. This guy has got nowhere to run basically. The blue team have all finally made it over from the other side of the map, and he is going to get clattered and sent back to port. So not a hugely amazing game, 123,000 damage, but we get nearly 350 main gun hits there with 11 fires and 1 kill, arsonist and Witherer. Just over 2,000 base XP, which I'd say is a fair game, but by no means amazing. And just to round off the Dutch a little bit, I will say to Ingmar and his son, bedankt voor het kijken. I hope you've enjoyed me putting a little bit of a Dutch twist on this video, and I really do appreciate your support for this channel. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, leave me a comment. Until next time, take care and goodbye.